From the outside looking in, from me just watching you, how you live your life, you are a consistent meditator. So good for you. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's taken many a years to get to this point. I did not. It's been a bumpy road, but I can happily say now I'm a consistent meditator.
Is it hard to be a consistent meditator?
Yeah.
Right.
For me it is, because meditating is taking the time out of your day to put yourself first, which I think many people could struggle with, or I struggle with it, prioritizing something in a day that's just purely for myself without seeing incredible, out of the world benefit straight away. Like, it's not this quick fix dopamine hit. So you've got to put yourself first for something that isn't, like the ice bath. When I do it, I get this adrenaline rush after. So it's like this, okay, like I know it's going to jack me up. Whereas I don't fully have that with meditation.
Like instant gratification.
Instant gratification, perfectly said. And it's also not something that if you don't do, you'll die. So we can all take time out of our day to, drink water and eat and do the things that we have to do to live. So it feels like a bit of a luxury, luxurious thing that I do in a day, which when I've got a really busy day and there's a lot going on, I really have to remind myself not to let that be the first thing that I fuck off, Because in the past it's done that. As soon as the day got busy, meditation was just dropped from the schedule straight away. And so I've worked really, really hard and really sat with, why do I do it? And as soon as I think that's what was lacking with it, is to stay consistent with it. You need to really come back. I think this is with anything. You need to come back to the why. Like, why do you think you should do this? Why is it so important? And once I got really clear on what meditation does for me, it became easier to prioritize it every day.
So what does it do for you?
So I'll start with what type of meditation I do, because there are a lot of different types.
Yeah, I feel like I don't even we spend every day together, but I don't actually.
Yeah, I don't even think you know what type of meditation I do.
It's funny because we live in this. It's a not talked about thing. It's a very private thing, so we don't even really talk about it.
No, it's just I slip off away for 20 minutes in the house and it goes silent.
I hope she's meditating. I don't know what she's up to.
And it goes silent and you don't know what I'm doing, and then 20 minutes later I just pop back out.
Yeah.
So I think it was in 2018, but it could have even been earlier than that. I trained with a group called Mahasoma Vedic Meditation in Melbourne. So my teacher was Laura. Shout out Laura. She is phenomenal. She still teaches in Northern Australia, like up in Northern New South Wales, Queensland area. She comes to Melbourne occasionally, but she was my teacher. She was so phenomenal. And it's Mahasoma is the company, and it's Vedic meditation, which originates in India. So it's a mantra-based meditation, which means when I studied this, it was every day for 5 days. It was just like an intensive 5-day course, and just morning and night though. So still have a life, so you can still do it with your day job. And you're given a mantra, and then when you meditate, the idea is that you are constantly saying that mantra to yourself.
What is a mantra?
So it's a word. So it's not like a sentence or a feeling or whatever. I have a word, but I'm not allowed to say it.
Oh, so it's a secret word.
It is a secret word. In Vedic meditation, only you and the person you studied from, so only Laura and myself know my mantra.
Yeah, right.
My cheeky sister has occasionally tried to make me slip up and say it.
What's yours again?
Yeah. As a joke though, because she also has hers. She understands it. She has a mantra as well.
Yeah.
You can't tell anyone. It is with you and your soul, basically. And then the meditation process is 20 minutes twice a day in an ideal state. And in an ideal world, that is. And then you are saying your mantra to yourself in your head in that meditation. And then what will happen is your brain and life will happen, and your brain will start making noise, and it'll be running through the thoughts, and it'll be, oh, I've got to make sure I put the washing on when I finish this, or why did I muck up that thing at work yesterday? Because you're sitting with yourself in a quiet space with no distractions. So naturally, a tsunami of thoughts start coming to you. And that's okay. That's not bad. That's not a negative. And you'll be thinking all these thoughts, and at some point you will remember that you should be saying your mantra. And so then all those thoughts will clear because you'll start focusing on your mantra again. And then the thoughts come back. Of all the thoughts and the busy thoughts, the negatives, the positives, everything, the noise gets, the mind gets noisy again. And then when you remember that you think, fuck, I should be meditating, I should be saying my mantra, you start saying your mantra again. And that's the process of it. And there's no, well, actually, I shouldn't say, you're like, damn, I should be saying my mantra. The whole thing is there's no negativity or anger or I'm doing this wrong. As in when you realize that you're not saying your mantra, that's okay. You just start saying it again. It's not about tearing yourself down or I'm doing this wrong. It's those thoughts are meant to creep in. Those thoughts are actually meant to be coming in, and then we're coming back to the mantra. That doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. That doesn't mean you're not benefiting from it. It doesn't mean that there's a problem. That's actually, that whole process is you clearing your thoughts. So Laura, when she taught me it, described it a lot of like when you're meditating, you're clearing out all the shit on a computer. So like imagine like you've got a desktop and those thoughts that are coming in of different files, and then when you come back to your mantra, that's just pushing that all into the rubbish. So meditating is clearing out all just the files in your head. So if you only meditate once a year, you might clear out 3 files and you've still got thousands of there. But if you meditate every single day, you're staying on top of the shit that builds up in your mind and in your subconscious. So it's just this flow on circle. And sometimes I meditate and the whole time I'm saying my mantra and I never slip from that. And sometimes I come back to my mantra once, but there's no right or wrong. And that is the main point of it as well, is Vedic meditation. There is no right or wrong to those thoughts. It is not the point to sit down and have a clear mind. That does sometimes make those meditations easier because, in my time meditating, I have found there are hard meditations and there are easy ones, and both have a place and serve a purpose. So sometimes I finish meditating and I'm like, whoa, I feel so relaxed. I feel so rested. I feel like I had a clear mind the whole time. And sometimes I come out of it and I'm like, whoa, that was an onslaught of stuff coming. So the difference with Vedic meditation compared to mindfulness meditation is you are trying to clear the mind. So that might be, for example, there are apps where it's mindfulness meditation. They might be talking the whole time. So your point is to focus on the words, like a guided meditation. The point is to focus only on what that person is saying through that meditation.
Okay, yeah.
Whereas Vedic meditation mindfulness meditation is about being present. What are you listening to in that moment, or what are you feeling? You are very present. Whereas Vedic meditation is the process of easily transcending thoughts. We're trying to not be present at all. We're actually trying to break the barrier of thoughts. So it's like letting them all in and then seeing where that's going.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I've as I was listening to you, I had all these different thoughts popping up, and I was realizing as you were talking that was happening to me as well.
So as someone that has a very, very, very noisy, busy brain, I had tried mindful meditation before finding Vedic meditation, and it could not stick for me because I would be listening to a guided meditation and my mind would be thinking all these different thoughts and it would be going like crazy. And I knew that was wrong. That was not the point. That was not the process. Whereas with Vedic meditation, when that's all happening, you don't even realize what's going on until your mantra pops back into your head. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm meant to bring it around to the mantra again. So having a busy mind is not considered doing it wrong or a bad thing, which is what I think I really resonated with that. When I meditate every day, I do find I come back to that mantra more often.
Within the meditation?
Within the meditation. So it's less time between having a busy mind and being able to quieten the busy mind.
Yeah.
It's like my mind can calm and quieten a lot quicker than, say, if I haven't meditated for 6 months. And because I have gone long periods without meditating since finding this practice in 2018, I can feel the difference. It's not like I've learnt to meditate and then meditated every single day for the last 6 years. I have done intense every day for a year straight, and then I've not meditated for 6 months or a year and then come back to it. So I've really felt the difference of having a consistent meditate daily practice and then meditate once every 2 months. I have done it all.
Yeah.
And I can so wholeheartedly, strongly say that the more consistent you do it, the better it is. Like the more you get out of it. And you just start from a different place. And kind of like the analogy I used to you the other day was that when I don't meditate often and then I go to do it, I'm operating at a level up here of like kind of stress, anxiety, mind's heavy, lots of thoughts going on. And then I meditate, I'm knocking that down to like here. But that's still living at quite a high level of stress and not being able to calm the mind.
Yeah.
So when I meditate daily, I'm sitting more here, and then when I meditate, I can drop it down to here. So then it might build up over the day. So I like to meditate around lunchtime because I find I wake up, I've got a base level of calm, low level of anxiety. And then as the day goes on, that grows. When I meditate at lunchtime, that meditation is just knocking down that a peg. So then it's growing from starting at more of a baseline in the middle of the day.
Okay.
So when I get to the end of the day, I might be up here instead of, if I didn't meditate, I've ended the day up here, which means harder to fall asleep, harder to switch off at the end of the day, et cetera, et cetera.
That makes sense.
So yeah, it's just like, it's a bit of a reset when you do it. And I think even if you come out of the meditation and you don't feel, if you can't logically feel like it did something, energetically and holistically, I feel like it did.
From your perspective, what do you think meditation's supposed to do?
I think it's meant to calm you. I think it's meant to calm the nervous system, which is something that is, I think, getting out of control in this world. We're always so go, 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 dopamine hits. We've got onslaught of visual pollution, noises, just everything coming at us constantly. So I think we are operating at a higher level of just like baseline adrenaline than what probably has ever been in the past. Because I think in the past, you would have had like we're talking, hundreds of years ago, we would have had like spikes of massive adrenaline, if we're being hunted or we're going to war. But baseline should have been pretty calm, whereas I think our baseline is becoming more used to being in a heightened state.
Yeah.
So it's bringing that down. And then also the big one is becoming more intuitive and ability to listen to our body. And I think it is, with so many distractions in society, we very, very rarely take the time to just sit with ourselves. Like we constantly have so much distracting us, even if it's just with your eyes open, you're seeing, oh, there's dishes I've got to put away, or, phone, TVs, everything. We don't sit with us and with ourselves, to the point where I think a lot of people can't sit with them, like sit in silence or sit with their own thoughts. And meditation consistently ensures that I'm living a life and walking through the world knowing that the decisions that I make are coming from me, not from outside factors or external sources. Obviously, that all influences me, but ultimately the decisions I've made is because I've thought about it, I've sat with it, I'm comfortable with it, and then I will go apply it. So less reactive, like what we talked about with our ice bath podcast. It's when all those, things are coming to you when you're sitting there, and the whole point, it's not like you're coming there and you're like, okay, I've got to get up and I've got to do this. I've set a timer for 20 minutes. Well, now I don't need to, because I've done it enough that my body actually knows 20 minutes. It comes out of it after 20 minutes naturally. And I look at the time and it's always around 18 to 22 minutes. Whereas at the start I set a timer. But because the whole point is not to action anything from your thoughts, which is very rare. Normally we're having thoughts to action something in that moment. And there is no action that is needing to come from any thoughts.
It's a great point.
So there is no point to be reactive. There is no need to be reactive.
You're so right, because that resonated with me a lot, because there's this feeling that for whatever reason it raises our impulse to take action so quickly. You're so right. Like for whatever reason, in a state of sort of unawareness, as soon as thoughts happen, they sort of bypass you and they go straight into your body, and it's like, I've got to take action on it right now. Like it really, you can feel it. You can feel it, like it's almost out of your control, and just that feeling of the external environment sort of forcing you to instantly like get up and move and got to do this, got to do that,
with no time at all to actually understand or work out, wait, is this what I want?
Yeah.
So slowing the mind down, gives you that time to be able to sit with not being reactive, and make that more of a familiar state for the body. So when you're not meditating, it's like muscle memory, when you practice something. So when I'm not meditating and a thought comes up, or a feeling, or thought or feeling comes up, I don't have this knee-jerk reaction to react on it straight away. My body remembers and knows that, okay, we can just sit with this for a second. How does this feel? Where does this then go? Does this we might get a better thought after, like if we just sit if when we have a thought, if we don't react, more thoughts come, and maybe they're better thoughts.
Yeah. Sometimes it can just naturally unfold without you having to do anything at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Meditating every day, I think, definitely means you can have meditative experiences. And that's something I love to use a lot.
What is a meditative experience to you?
Yeah, so that's, you know how much I love saying it's a meditative experience.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful moment when you are not planning to meditate. You don't force it. You're not sitting down saying, this is my meditation time. It's when a moment comes up in my day where I do just sit with my thoughts and my feelings, not on purpose and not trying to action or drive something. So for example, sometimes I'll go for a walk and I'll be walking the dog, and before I left the walk, I put my headphones in and I was like, yep, I know the podcast I'm going to listen to on this walk, and I'll start walking. And next minute I'll realize I've walked for 30 minutes and I never started playing my podcast. I would just started being with me and my own thoughts, not interacting with anything on the outside, just not thinking about walking. It was just, it's the route I always take. I don't need to think. And next minute I'll just have this thought of, oh my God, I'm not listening to anything. It was 30 minutes and it wasn't a conscious decision not to play my podcast. I just didn't. I was walking with my thoughts and my feelings.
Yeah, you didn't need a distraction.
Yeah, so I call that a meditative experience.
That's a really good point.
And it's when you snap and you kind of find yourself that you've just been with yourself. But yeah, a meditative experience. And those happen a lot more when I'm meditating daily. But is the act of the mind effortlessly wandering and then coming back to the present.
And
effortlessly transcending.
Can I ask you, in the way that you're talking about this and the way that you see it, is there a difference between your meditative state and doing the same thing where your mind is wandering in a distracted state?
Yeah, I feel like that's the opposite, because that's more an emotion driven state. Whereas a meditative state or meditating is more, you're taking the full emotion out. It's almost like an out of body experience where you're over here and your brain's over there and having all these thoughts. So it's more looking in at these thoughts as a impartial person. It's not
subjective.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not run by emotions. Yeah, subjective.
Yeah,
so it's like a totally different feeling,
completely
and it
different.
is hard to describe, but when you're feeling it, it's like chalk and cheese.
One of the sentences that I use frequently in my mind to know whether I'm in like a just hyper distracted state or in a state of awareness, it's a two-layered thing, and it's asking yourself, am I in a state where I'm aware that I'm aware?
Yeah.
Because if I'm completely distracted, I'm not aware that I'm unaware. I'm not, there isn't those two layers. But if you're in a mode where you're like, I'm trying to be aware and I'm aware that I'm being aware, it's like, you're in it.
Yeah.
You're in it, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's been my meditation journey. And honestly, the more you do it, the more it becomes addictive. So that's why I think at the start, getting that momentum to do it regularly is hard. But once you're doing it regularly, it is a bit addictive, because the benefits, the more you do it, I think you see the benefits more regularly. And so just like with everything, once you see results, we are more likely to continue with it.
Yeah.
Whereas once you've done it for a while, you really can see and feel a different shift and state in your body. So therefore it's easier to keep going with it than when you just do it once every 6 months. It's harder to feel that change. But doing it regularly, it sounds cliche, but it it is like I'm a calmer person.
Yeah.
I just feel like my emotions can be regulated more and I'm a calmer person. And it sounds cliche, but I guess everyone describes meditating like that because that is the feeling of it.
Beautiful.
And then when you really want to level up, doing group meditations.
how
That's
do
a
you
sweet
find that they're
spot.
different?
It's a weird thing to describe, but so Mahasoma does group meditations where you can, if you've learnt to meditate with them, they run group meditations. They do them weekly. Normally that's sort of like 5 to 10 people, and then they do big events. So I've meditated in a room before at a Mahasoma event where there was probably about, no joke, there was probably 100 people in that room all meditating at the one time. And that was so powerful. I don't even know if the words exist to explain it, but it hit diff. It hit very different.
Really?
Can
you try? I would love to.
Yeah, I guess having any collective big group of people feeling the same thing always ups the energy. So you have, 100 people at a concert and they're vibing with the person singing, and that energy is electric, when you've got heightened states of people in, or you've got, a dance party, or when there's a feeling of a collective goal or a collective feeling, the energy is just on another level. And so, yes, meditating is a quiet, silent, inward thing, but the feeling and the energy that went through that room was just something that like gave you goosebumps.
Do you feel like
it was almost just like that, like everyone in such a calm state made it, it was like synergy. Like as calm as I feel meditating on my own, when there are people around me meditating, that calmness is felt 10 times. And I guess now that I'm talking about it, it makes sense, because how calm can I actually get when I meditate? Say at work I meditate a lot because it's lunchtime. There might be 10 other people in that building who are not meditating. So probably the level that I can get of being completely calm is capped, because energetically I am surrounded by people that are still hustling and bustling. Like I'm in that world where it is not a calm state. And the beauty of, I love about Mahasoma and the training I got was, the goal is to be able to meditate absolutely anywhere. It does not matter about your surroundings. And because it's not guided, you don't need to have a phone and have your headphones in. And the whole point is it can be done anywhere. And you need to practice that. And once you do that, it does become easy. Like I can meditate with sound on, I can meditate with you in the house, working, doing whatever. I can zone it all out. I can't do that sadly in public places like a lot of people meditate, because I don't feel safe enough to, like they use it, lots of people meditate on the tram going to work, and but I know that I can't drop into that state well when I don't know that my physical surroundings is a safe one. So that kind of adds on with the meditation with 100 people, is when everyone's dropping into that state, it almost, everyone can drop into it further because that's the surrounding that is happening.
Yeah, everyone's giving each other permission to really dive deep.
Exactly. And obviously I'm going to feel calmer going inwards when all the people around me are at a very,
for sure,
very deep level of calm.
Yeah.
So a big fan of group meditations. They do feel completely different to a solo one. Even just if I'm sitting next to my sister meditating, which we do often together, I find I'm always calmer. Like I'm always I always come out of it just a bit more refreshed than it's on my own.
And Spencer loves it.
Yes. Our dog absolutely loves it. I think it's his favorite part of the day.
He drops deep.
He drops so deep, doesn't he? Yeah. Yeah. He loves to lay on my lap and he instantly just goes zonked. And I think I love it too because I know he's safe and he knows he's safe or I'm safe. It's a beautiful experience. And I believe dogs can tap into that. He knows what's going on. He knows
they're
that
tapped in.
Yeah, he knows that the person that he's, protects is safe and in a calm state. Just like when you're all revved up, not you, but just anyone's always stressed. Like dogs, feel that. So I meditate half for me and I meditate half for my dog so he can reach a level of complete rest as well for those 20 minutes.
So cute.
I think one of the reasons I love it so much as well is it is accessible everywhere. You don't need some expensive crazy machine or you don't need to be able to go to a certain place to do it. Like it is accessible everywhere. So it doesn't matter where I'm moving around or where I am or if I'm on holiday, or a great place to do it is a plane. That is a really good way to just completely kill 20 minutes of a flight.
Yeah.
Like I just love that it's you and it's all you. There's no external sources. There's no external must-haves. There's no I need to rely on someone else to do the guided meditation. It really is all coming within you. And I think something about that just is really, really beautiful. It's like everything you need to do a Vedic meditation is always on you, always in you at every single moment.
Yeah.
Although a funny thing, when all you need is you and your mantra, which is always in you. But how crazy is this? When I have gone through long periods of not meditating, so maybe 2, 5, 6 months, a few times I have freaked out that I have forgotten my mantra. Now, Laura, my teacher, has it written down. So at any point, if you ever need to get told it again or reminded of it, you can.
She's got it written down.
Yeah, she knows it. So she knows everyone that she's ever taught, she knows their mantra.
You don't have a few spare hard drives, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's on pen and paper somewhere. I wonder if she still has mine since it's been so long. I feel like she would. And this has happened about, I reckon, 5 times over the 8 years where I've just had a random thought out of nowhere of, oh my God, I can't remember my mantra. And it's just one word. And I've like freaked out and I've just been like, wait, what is it? Is it that? Is it like, what is it? And like fully cannot remember it, right? And then I go, okay. Well, the first time I didn't know what to do. And so I didn't meditate for like ages because I couldn't remember it. I was like, oh, I've got to reach out to Laura. Can't remember it. Could not remember it for ages. And then eventually I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit down and try and meditate. And I sat down and I was like, I'm just going to meditate. And I just sat down and I told my body, my brain, we're meditating now, 20 minutes. If you don't have a mantra, well, then you're just having those thoughts for 20 minutes. You got no way to clear it and circle back around.
You're sitting here regardless.
You're sitting here regardless and you're just going to have 20 minutes of thoughts that you cannot clear with your mantra. And I sat down and the moment I start meditating, my mantra just pops back into my head.
Straight back. And now that has happened, honestly, I reckon the 6 years, 5 times. So you're not worried about forgetting it again?
Now I do not worry at all. I know the second that I sit down to meditate, it will come back to me. And every time it has. When I have this and I don't know if it's normal, but I have a lot of brain blanks. Like just a lot of moments of like, oh my God, that has just completely cleared my mind. But I know it's in there. Like I know it's information that is there and it will come back. It just needs a little bit of patience. So I'm not worried about it. And it happened a few other times, and I sat down to meditate, and then just straight away it just came back.
So from your perspective, if someone hasn't meditated before and they haven't gone to somewhere or to someone to get a mantra, just to your knowledge, right? Like what would you suggest? How can someone begin if they've never done it before?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know the process of where you would begin to get a mantra if it hasn't been given to you from someone or taught to you by someone. So honestly, I'm not sure. But I mean, Mahasoma has they have a website, they have social media like Instagram. There's someone there would definitely be able to tell you, and there's lots of information on the website, and they send out amazing newsletters. The support from that company ongoingly once you do the course is phenomenal. Like you are forever part of this community.
That's cool.
And it really feels like a community. The newsletters, the weekly group meditations in each state are all free. So every week you can go there's always a host of a person or call it a shaman or something, like someone who is a teacher that is there, and then you meditate and then you discuss things that have come up for you in that meditation afterwards. So the community is a really, really beautiful, nurturing, feminine-led, safe community. And so I do highly recommend them, but I don't know, how you would start without going through them or an organization. But that's a good question. I'm sure there's lots of resources online. I'm sure there's courses. I'm sure you could just appoint yourself one. Now, I'm going to say that, and I have no idea if that's a thing. I don't know the Vedic
tradition, so I'm not aware of how that specific type of meditation is meant to work.
Yeah, I don't know either. But look, if it's the barrier of you not ever meditating and you meditating or trying it, it's almost like giving yourself a safe word. I'm sure you can't call it Vedic meditation then, in the sense of if someone hasn't given you your mantra, because that was quite a beautiful spiritual ceremony when that happened. When I got given that, it had quite an impact. It really felt like that was meant to be my word.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but it did feel like it's like, I don't know, at the moment the stars aligned, or it felt conscious. So I'm not sure if you could give yourself your own mantra, but if you wanted to just do that and give it a go, I think that would be an okay place to start. I'm not sure. It's more of a sound than a word, because words, obviously, we hold meaning towards them. Even if it's a beautiful word like leaf, who knows what that invokes. So it's actually more of a sound. Like it's not, my mantra isn't a real word in English language.
We're getting closer. What is it?
To be honest.
Maybe you got the good one.
To be honest, how funny is this? The whole time we've been having this conversation, I actually can't fucking remember what it is. And I think that's because I am purposely blocking it out because I don't want to accidentally say it.
Might just drop into a state.
I'm
You don't want to say it.
I'm well aware that I don't want to say it. So I'm actually like having a blank in that. I've like blocked it out. And weirdly, I feel like, I don't know, it's like almost like the mantra is protecting itself. Like it doesn't want to be exposed either.
Oh.
Is how it feels.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's funky.
It almost feels sometimes like this is going to sound so kooky, but It's like a third eye, third entity in me. It's
got power.
It's itself. Like it's its own thing that's in me. It doesn't feel like
You got a spirit guide.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like something I have created. It feels like something that has found me. Do with that what you would like, but
Interesting.
That's how it feels. I would love to know if other people feel like that. I should ask my sister because she does have a mantra. I'm going to talk to her about that. If anyone has a mantra who's listening to this, I would really love to know if you feel the same. It is something that you've created or it is a spirit that is come externally into you. So this is rare, but please let me know. I would really like to know that. Maybe I need to ask that when I go to a group meditation next.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's the experience. I think different meditations can work for all different people. Like I said, I try guided ones and I didn't resonate with that, but this one I resonated with straight away.
This is your method.
Yep, I'm sure there are people that resonate with none and need to just give it some time. I'm sure there's practices that resonate. You know, someone could resonate with all different practices, but you know, it's in the wellness space, it's in the world. I think there is a huge, huge place for it. I think getting back to basics is sometimes the answer. And I think sometimes we discredit meditation because it almost is too simple. Like, what do you mean you could just sit with yourself for 20 minutes a day and have all these amazing benefits? I think
Change your whole life.
Yeah. It's almost like we love to, I think especially as like a Western society, like overcomplicate things. And sometimes the simplest answer is the best one.
Yeah.
Or the easiest way is the best one.
Yeah.
And that's why I think meditation does get overlooked. It almost seems too good to be true, but it to me seems like a getting back to basics. And it's been used for, you know, thousands and thousands of years.
Since people were here.
Since people were here,
It's been
people
happening.
have been sitting with themselves.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
I really advocate for that. And I feel like it is almost a dying art in some ways. I feel like it is talked about less. It feels like even talking about it on this podcast feels like the podcast, this is a dated topic. Like,
A dated topic.
yeah, like as in Western society, like this was really trendy 10, 20 years ago.
Oh.
You know, like we've moved on. Like there are
Yeah.
cooler things to talk about when you're talking about
Now it's cold plungers.
now it's cold plungers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there are cooler things to talk about when talking about wellness and consciousness and spirituality. And this feels like been there, done that. But I think this needs to stay present. I think it's really important and I really see the benefits. And I think it's a powerful, powerful tool just sitting with yourself.
Yeah, and I think that there's thousands of different personal development techniques that are effective and are used for how to work with the mind as best as possible. But meditation's about getting out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so true. Perfectly
Which
said.
is a very, very different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing. I want to dive deeper into talking about meditation with you to get if you're willing to share, throughout episodes in the future of really understanding how it works from you and try and sort of get as clear as possible on the way that you see it. I'm going to be doing the same thing in future episodes as well, and potentially you can do it with me. There's many ways to meditate and there's many ways to look at it. So I'm going to, in future episodes, begin talking about those different ways and the different ways to the center. You know, there's as many ways to God as there are people. So
For sure. And even just, I guess because it's something I do on my own all the time and we don't talk about it because it is just more of an inward thing. This conversation has already sparked heaps of questions within myself about my practice,
Yeah.
like even just talking about my mantra and what just came up for me. So I've got a lot that I want to actually go away and sit with more and think about, which is exciting. So yeah, I definitely would like to talk about this more in the future. And this has sparked some questions for me. So I'm gonna think about a few more things when I'm meditating. Which is allowed with Vedic meditation. Thinking is allowed. So yeah, I would definitely like to come back to this topic. I think what would be really beneficial is to meditate. So the goal with Vedic meditation is it's 2 meditations a day for 20 minutes.
Okay.
I'm consistently doing 1 meditation a day for 20 minutes. I have never for a longer period of time than about 6 months stayed consistent with the 2 a day. So that's something that is a bit of a goal for this year, is to incorporate a second 20-minute meditation in my day. So it'd be really interesting once I've done that consecutively for a few months. It'd be cool to come back and talk about it again if you'd have me.
You're going to have a negative hard drive.
Yeah.
There's going to be less than nothing in it.
Oh, stop it. That's the dream.
The void.
That's the dream. Imagine what can come in with all that space. So, you know what? I'll just start that from tomorrow onwards so we can talk about it in a few months.
We'll keep talking about it. It's funny because we even though we don't talk about meditation in this way much, because in the end it doesn't matter. It's his solo journey. Like it's talking about it can sometimes be a limitation, I think, especially if you like comparing notes on the right way. It's your experience and it's my experience. In saying that, we both, and anyone who meditates a lot, all agrees that in terms of benefit to time spent,
or effort,
it's probably the highest return on investment thing that you can do with your time. And we struggle to do it for 20 minutes a day. Like, how is that? Because it's a simple task, but it's the largest task that a human can really go through. So I want to bring to this space more clarity and more understanding around the process of exploration into oneself. So we're going to do it together.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. And I know you've gone through stages of your life where you've done very long meditations, which is something I haven't done, but I know you've done, 2-hour long meditations before.
Yeah.
So I think we should come back and talk about those, because that's something that I have not done and you've played around with for a bit. So I think we should come back and talk about that. And a experiment I would like to leave with the listeners is, next time you go to scroll, like you're sitting down and you want to scroll Instagram or TikTok or social media, set a timer for 20 minutes and then just start scrolling. I think you will be very, very shocked with how quickly that timer goes off. Because a lot of people would say, and I used to say it, that like there's just no time to meditate, but it is crazy when you...
Oh, so you can still scroll, but just see how quickly 20 minutes goes as you're having a scroll?
Yeah, set a timer on your phone for 20 minutes and just start scrolling. Before you know it, that timer will be going off.
You have 20 minutes.
And then when you... And I did this once because I wanted to see how quickly 20 minutes went when you're scrolling. And it is insane how quick it goes. And then I think, wow, well, I definitely do that 3 times a day. So how can I not meditate twice a day? Because I definitely know that I sit down and do that thing that I just did and with that timer on. I definitely do that twice a day.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I will replace scrolling, but as in that's a bad thing. You can't scroll, just meditate. But it's maybe the meditation needs to come first and then the scrolling after, for me personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, put a timer on and scroll. You'll be so shocked how quick that timer goes off.
That's a great point. That is a good point. Thank you for that.
You could try it too.
You've just destroyed my scrolling time.
Oh, you're all about the thought experiments.
I love the thought experiments. Well, thanks, Ellen. You're a ledge. Thanks for bringing some calm and peace to the space. And we'll continue exploring the mind.
Sounds beautiful. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everybody. Peace.
Namaste.
Namaste. What was your word again?